Well, howdy there, pipe pals. It's old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre coming back at you. How y'all doing this evening? Well, just want to say howdy here. I am smoking some of that fine rope tobacco that I got from John and Dee Dee. John and Dee Dee, if you're watching, thank you very much. Very, very much. Delicious. Of course, I've been, you just saw the other video, hopefully, the second go around on how to use a Cuisinart food processor to prepare rope or twist tobacco. And it's actually quite good. Nice sweet burley tobacco. And I thought I'd show you something kind of fun here, folks. Have you ever seen have you ever seen a real cigar? I'm going to show you a real cigar. Now that's a cigar. Anybody that's interested in one of these scary things, I was first introduced to the Bazooka cigars by Stogie Man 1. And if you're watching tonight, Stogie Man 1, thank you very much. I ordered some for him and for me. I noticed, though, online tonight they were out of certain selections. And this is the 105, which I affectionately call the 105 Howitzer. Okay? So I had one of these earlier in the week. And it looks like one of those exploding comical cigars that we see on a stage. But actually, it's a real good smoke. And if you like cigars on a nice summer afternoon or fall evening, can't go wrong with one of these. Okay? All right, so let me put that back in this little house. It's a little, so it kind of keeps doesn't dry out, because I don't like it to dry out. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that'll keep it from drying out. Okay. Well, a couple of things I wanted to talk about tonight. Beautiful summer evening in Northern California. And I just, excuse me, I've had a pretty good day today. You know, normally when summer starts, although I appreciate summer, but it's not like my favorite season. But, normally I have to kind of go through an adjustment period. And for some reason this year, thanks be to God, it just seems to be okay. I mean, it can be summer, it's okay, it can be hot, I'm not, no pun intended, I'm not sweating it, okay? So, I don't know. Life's pretty good. Maybe it's a rope tobacco. I was thinking something today, before I get into the two topics I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the first time, you smoke a pipe. One of our pipe friends out there in Pipeland, she wants to, I got his permission to share his first experience smoking a pipe, and I thought it was really a nice experience. But I noticed that I have this YouTube channel that I started 2 years ago, April 1st. And I also have my other religious one that I use for the parish, Stevenson RF. And I started looking at my YouTube, and I remember, with great fondness, several YouTubers that I actually discovered in the very beginning of YouTube. Now, for me, I started YouTube back in 2006, I think. Yeah, 2006. So it's been 7 years. At least 6 or 7 years. And there were some seminal people that I kind of, you know, gravitated to in the beginning. There was a little bit of a mutual give and take. They would send me messages. Sometimes I'd send them messages asking for help or commenting on their videos and vice versa. So anyway, a couple of them I noticed are still in my queue on my other channel. And one of them came back, I guess, either yesterday or today. And his name is Mr. Bit 10. And I don't know if you're watching there, Maurice, but if you are watching this channel, well, it's always good to see you. You know, and he was, and still is, one of those YouTube pipe presenters that I really enjoyed. He has a lot of, he's more of a techno kind of a guy. But he told me he also likes the pipes and cigars. So I just thought, you know, there's an affection, and I just want to say that as far as having certain subscribers and certain people that you got a chance to know in the very beginning. And, you know, I guess you'll never, you know, I think back with a lot of fondness, you know, when I first started out and, you know, watching their videos, they watch mine. And, you know, I think a lot of us were learning, and we still are, obviously, how to present videos and just kind of share your own uniqueness with the world. So it was just kind of nice to see somebody you hadn't seen in a while and go, well, hey, they're still there. That's great, you know. So anyway, I just thought that was neat. So Mr. Bit 10. If you ever get a chance to see Mr. Bit 10, he's kind of a techno guy and just a neat guy. Just, you know, so a little shout out to him. Well, anyway, I didn't want to make this a super long video, but it's going to probably be long. So I'm going to give you that heads up right now. You know, if you don't want to watch, that's fine. But I wanted to talk about two things. You know, you're kind of your firsts, you know, and dieting. I'm going to talk about that. And so anyway, the first thing is Mr. Gary, and I'm going to try and pronounce his name correctly for the first time. He's a great guy. He sends me cards and letters. Just a great guy. Travels all over the world, I guess. And I always kind of in my mind picture him in some airport, you know, looking at YouTube on his iPad or his was it Microsoft Slate, you know, Windows 8 Slate or something like that, or whatever other tablets are out there. Droid tablets, I guess they have Droid tablets. Maybe even just watch it on his phone. But the thing about Gary, he always has, he's known as the gentleman scholar. And if some of you are going, who are you talking about? That's his name, gentleman scholar. Now, he hasn't uploaded any videos yet, but I think that's coming. And so we all want to encourage Gary to make a video. But it's interesting because he talks about Mr. Gary, if you want to pronounce his name, English, Poirier, or French, Poirier. Poirier. Or Poirier. Gary, you're going to get so mad at me. I'm butchering your name all the time. But anyway, gentleman scholar. And I'm sure that probably a lot of you have gotten comments or maybe even PMs from the gentleman scholar. Anyway, Gary has been, interestingly enough, watching the YouTubes, the pipe presenter YouTubes, and he has developed. He has a desire to learn how to smoke a pipe, and he's new to the hobby, but he tells me, he's told me in several PMs and other things that he's kind of frustrated because he travels quite a bit. And it's hard to find a place, especially in this world today, to find a place where you can smoke. You know, it's not like it was 50 years ago. You know, if you watch Mad Men, literally, you know, they got a cigarette, you know, or a couple of characters actually smoke pipes in Mad Men, which I kind of thought was kind of cool in the beginning. So it's not like, you know, we're, you know, a long time ago, it was no big deal to smoke. And now it's, you know, kind of obviously politically incorrect. It's taboo, you know, especially even pipe smoking. So anyway, but Gary's been, you know, watching the videos, and every now and then he gets a chance. I think one time he actually got outside. I don't know if he was in Germany or someplace. And he got kind of close to being able to have a pipe, and then I guess the wind kept blowing out his matches or his lighter, and he just couldn't get the pipe even lit. But anyway, so he sends me lots of little postcards and lots of really nice things, little memorabilia things. But he always makes really nice comments on my videos, and I really appreciate that, Gary. Thank you. But here he says, and I asked him if I could have permission to share this because I think it's kind of fun. It's kind of nice. He wants to share with us his first time smoking a pipe, getting a chance to really enjoy a pipe. And he says, finally! Exclamation point. Success! Or as we say in Klingon, kapla. Success with the pipe at last. This is what he says. Did everything I was taught with the packing, the drawing, very important by the way, and the post-smoke cleaning. YouTube and its presenters are a gift. Like that. We're a gift. And then he says, in other news, snow in May. Be glad and thankful where you live. So anyway, Gary, congratulations on your first, hopefully successful and enjoyable pipe. You know, pipe smoking is a very personal thing. I really believe that. This pipe here I bought some 30 some odd years ago. And I bought it because it reminded me of Sherlock Holmes, obviously. I probably should be wearing a deer stalker right now, but I'm not. But the thing is that, you know, certain pipes, for all of us, have a certain charm and appeal, and we buy them, you know. And we hope that they have a nice... they have all the nice attributes for, you know, making it an enjoyable smoke. And so this particular Pioneer Calabash is something that I am very fond of. And it reminds me of a pipe experience that I had many years ago. I was living with a Monsignor. And all I'll just say is the man had lots of issues, and he was a reformed cigarette smoker. And I have to say, he was a very difficult personality to live with. And one day, you know, I think I noticed a picture of him with a pipe. Well, you know, and I've been a pipe smoker off and on for all my adult life. Never got addicted though. But anyway, so it's a Harry Morgan joke. So one day I saw a picture of him in a photo album or something, and he was out in the backyard with a pipe. And I was going to say, hey, you know, look, you know, and he just got super angry about smoking. And he just said, I don't allow smoking in this house. And, you know, and then I noticed all these non-smoking signs. You know, it's just a super angry person. And I remember it was the summertime, and I was kind of upset because, you know, I there are certain moments that take you and say, you know, pipe would be good right now. And so I was forbidden from smoking a pipe or smoking anything, obviously, in the rectory. It was my last year teaching, and so I was officially a seminarian, but I was still teaching in the school. And so one day I was after work, and I had some money in my pocket, and I went to the Tinderbox there, Sunrise Mall. Sad to say it's not there anymore. But I found a wonderful Peterson pipe. And again, it was a replica of the pipe that Basil Rathbone smoked in the 1940s Sherlock Holmes movies. And I still have it, and maybe in one of my other videos. I've smoked at least once or twice in some of my videos. And it was just one of those times where I wanted to smoke a pipe. And so, in kind of a defiant attitude, didn't smoke in the house. I mean, I'm respectful. I might be kind of defiant, but I'm not going to be disrespectful. And so what I did was I went out to the back. We used to have a big field and a playground where the kids would play. But it was outside and there were some benches. And so I got this new pipe. And I remember packing it with some really nice tobacco. It was an English blend. It was a nice English blend. And I remember lighting the pipe and the first couple of puffs were fantastic. And it just burned just evenly and beautifully. And I just remembered really enjoying that pipe, that moment with that new pipe. And there's been other occasions where I've had a pipe. Maybe I'm in a sad mood. I normally smoke when I'm processing things. And I could be going through something, usually if it's a good day, it's really easy for me to light up a pipe. But sometimes if I'm struggling with things in my life, as we all do, sometimes I kind of, it's a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's more deliberate. I have to kind of say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to relax. Kind of a little bit more forced, maybe. Maybe it's not as maybe as serendipitous as I would like it to be. Just kind of like, well, I need to do something, so this will be something I'll do. And but I remember many occasions where the pipe has been a real good companion. So again, Gary, we all want to take this opportunity to salute you, congratulate you, and hoist a pipe in your honor tonight and say, well, job well done. I hope you found a lot of enjoyment and comfort in your pipe. I want to talk a little bit about, last thing, I want to talk a little bit about dieting. I actually made this video after I did my second attempt at rope tobacco preparation with the new Cuisinart. But, oops, there we go. There's something about those things in life where we make a decision to do something for a lot of the right reasons, but maybe we get to a certain point, as yours truly does, and maybe you're like Charles Lindbergh and you're halfway across the Atlantic. Great movie, by the way, if you ever get a chance to see Jimmy Stewart in that movie about Charles Lindbergh. It's actually a good movie. And that's been my experience with dieting. So this last Ash Wednesday, I decided that I was going to try and fast the 2 traditional fast days for Catholics. Now, if you're a Catholic and you're watching this, and you're going, wait a minute, what do you mean 2 traditional fast days? I never heard about that. And chances are, if you're younger than I am, you probably haven't heard about that. And it's not, I just don't want you to all of a sudden start going, well, what is he talking about? I never heard anything about this. Am I supposed to be fasting 2 days a week? Okay, just calm down. It traditionally, Wednesdays and Fridays have always been considered traditionally as the fast days in the church. Now, That being said, I will say that under canon law, there is no hard and fast rule that you do fast. It's just it's a guidance at this point. It's certainly if you choose to fast on Wednesdays and Fridays, you can do that. Now, also technically, during the season of Easter and Christmas, and on certain very special holy days of our Lord and Our Lady, you are actually kind of forbidden to fast, really, for penitential reasons. So, if you want to know more about that, you can certainly ask me. I'll be glad to try to answer that. But again, traditionally, the traditional fast days for Catholic Christians has always been Wednesdays and Fridays. Most Catholics don't know that, so but a few people that do, this older Catholics, they will recall that. Anyway, so this last Ash Wednesday, February 13th. I decided, well, I've never really done that. Now, I've done a couple of, long-term fasts, trying to figure out what God's will was for me. And I found that to be very spiritually beneficial. But I just thought that, I'm going to try this traditional fasting and just see how it works. There wasn't a lot of heavy duty spirituality that was going into it. It was just, hey, I'm just gonna do this. Not so much as a goal, but just trying to be a little more open to God. Saying, well, God, this is what I'm gonna do. And there's some really wonderful spiritual things I think that you get when you fast. I was going to say something about that too, but anyway, I digress a bit. So anyway, I started this, and about a couple weeks into it, I stumbled upon something on the internet about the new English diet. And I think many of you have heard of it now. It's called the fast diet, or the 5-2 diet. Basically, you fast 2 days a week, non-consecutive, mostly. Maybe you fast on a Monday and a Thursday. But the rest of the days in the fast, you could eat normal. Okay? That doesn't mean you pig out, but it means you don't have to worry about counting calories, you don't have to worry about carbohydrates. You just eat normal. And hopefully you're eating healthy things, so that's going to help too. But but they say that you will lose weight gradually, and if you practice that. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, the fast day is not exactly bread and water. Well, you wouldn't want to eat bread because that's too much carbohydrates there. But you can actually have a little bit. Men can have 600 calories and women can have 500 calories. So it's not a lot, but it's enough to kind of keep you from feeling like, gosh, I'm going to die here, any minute. Also, smoking your pipe can also help take the edge off of some of those hunger pains too. And a good cup of coffee or tea or broth. So I started doing that, and I was going to say this one thing. I said, sometimes, and this I think is something that needs to be said, is that, when you're kind of trying to be open to God, and I believe this is true. Maybe some people might disagree, but I think that if you take just 1 degree to move closer to God, He'll fill up the other 99. I really believe that. A lot of times we think that we've got to kind of really kind of improve ourselves, and we have to do all these Herculean heroic things in order to get God to notice us and to accept us. And although we have to guard against legalism, I think that practicing certain spiritual disciplines when they're done from a good motive or the heart, God really sees that, and I think that makes him happy. And he, it's like, again, if you, let's say you're a friend, and you haven't seen somebody in a long time, and you find out they're going to be coming for a visit, and you say, hey, well, I'll meet you halfway, or in other words, you're just so excited that they're going to move in a direction close to where you can go visit them. You're willing to probably maybe travel a couple hours just because you haven't seen them in so long, because you care about them, you love them, And I think that's the way it is with God. So sometimes we do little things and we kind of think, well, that's not a lot. That's not very much. But I think that the moment our hearts want us to move in that direction, it's like the prodigal son. When the father saw the son from far off, it says he ran to him. The kid was coming home, but the prodigal son, the prodigal father, I always like to say prodigal father, went running towards him before he even got there. He just saw him way off, and I kind of think God does that with us. So anyway, I started this diet, and I am happy to say that I went to the doctor a few weeks ago. This is strong tobacco too, so I'm probably going to get punchy here in another 5-10 minutes. Delicious though. No tongue bite. But I have clearly, and I can say this it's clinically substantiated from my doctor, that I've actually lost. In his words, you lost a ton of weight. Well, I had a ton of weight, and I still have a ton of weight to lose. So I'm still I feel like Charles Lindbergh halfway across the Atlantic. I'm at a certain point where I go, wow, I've lost a lot of weight, but I still have a lot more to lose. So I'm kind of looking at this diet. My question, or my topic, I guess, is, when does something cease to become a fad and become part of your life? Because that's where it really begins to work, if you will. It becomes something that has a real benefit, a real dividend in your life. It's not something that you're just trying to do. You're white knuckling it. You're trying to, kind of get through something because, well, you have a goal in mind, but kind of like going to law school, I guess. And so my question is, I've lost in my life. I've done the yo-yo thing. And if a certain person is watching, we both know who you are. And yes, I know. That's all I'm going to say. Yes, for a certain special person, if they're watching, they know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you, and you know that. How many times have you told me about the yo-yo thing? I know. But that's because they love me. Yeah. But about 3 times I've lost an awful lot of weight. Now, I was actually a very skinny kid. I was a toothpick. And I didn't start putting on weight until probably when I got into the seminary. And I was 30 years old when I got in the seminary. And I noticed that, I started putting on the pounds pretty quick. I noticed that my dad, some pictures of him in his 70s, he was a portly fellow. He was shorter than I was. He was probably maybe 4 or 5 inches shorter than I am. But still, I packed it on too at middle age. So I've lost it, but I've gained it back with interest, as most people do. Now, the question is, when I look back on it, I recognize that I did Atkins, and Atkins works. I did an exercise one where I did, was that machine with the rubber bands on it? Bowflex, I think it was. And walking 45 minutes a day and eating nothing but beans and rice. Well, maybe not rice, but beans. I did a lot of beans. I like beans. It was a good fiber diet's a good diet too. But again, Atkins, I think this was called the Dr. Dean, was it Dean Ornish Dr. Ornish. Anyway, but the sad thing is it was a fad. And here's the truth. Diets work, and they don't work. They work when you work them, and they don't work when you don't work them, and that's the truth. And so what has to happen, you've got to find for yourself something that goes beyond being just a fad, a gimmick, if you will, or a seasonal thing. It's like, I'm going to do this for this amount of time. You set up your goal. And you can even, and I've known a couple of people, and I guess I'm one of them, you actually get to your goal. And what happens when you get to your goal? Well, we all know that story, don't we? We stop doing what we're doing, and we start doing all the stuff that we're not supposed to do. And so my question to myself is, okay, this new diet thing, quote unquote, is it something that's going to be a fad? Is it going to be a passing thing? Or is it going to be something that actually becomes part of my life? And I guess that's the question right now, because I will tell you, I am right now at that point where I see some dramatic changes for the good, and I'm happy about that. But part of me says, but man, I don't know if I'm really, part of me begins to say, well, it's not going to work the rest of the way. I kind of say, well, it's worked this far, but I'm afraid it won't work the rest of the way. And for some reason, maybe I'll go back to quote unquote my old ways of being, which is what kind of happens. This is a real milestone. It's a watershed. It's a turning point, because I usually get to this point and I go, hey, I see some real changes, again, for the better. But part of me says, yeah, but I still got a ways to go. I'm not there yet. So either I get discouraged or I get bored, and then I kind of stop doing the discipline to continue. And although I would say that I enjoyed the Atkins diet and the other fiber diet, and they were all, in many ways, they were very good. You had to do their math, or I guess some people do Weight Watchers, and it's all kind of based on math, whether it's calories or carbohydrates or this or that. Walking 45 minutes opposed to 30 minutes. Get into that fat burning zone, that type of stuff. So the only thing that I feel a little bit different about this time, it's not a big emotional thing. It's not some, huge revelation from the ether sphere. But it's kind of an understanding, and maybe it's an acceptance thing. Maybe that's what it is. The thing about this English diet, or the fast diet, is there really aren't that many restrictions, with the exception of the fasting. In other words, you don't have to worry about counting calories. You don't have to worry about counting carbohydrates. You don't have to, sweat your buns off, for 45 minutes a day. You don't have to do any of that. In fact, you don't have to do anything, which is kind of interesting. Because on your fast days, you just really don't eat. Okay? Now, it's something, if you've never experienced, being hungry, really hungry, and you will get hungry, there's no doubt about it. I'm not going to lie about that. I've had a couple of people, Chris has asked me what I do to do the 600 calories a day, and basically I just drink a big cup of coffee or tea, or you can do broth, I've stopped using heavy cream in my coffee, even though in Atkins you can actually use heavy cream because there's very little carbohydrates. But calories, that shoots you up. So I just do black coffee with a little bit of Coffee Mate, not the sweet stuff, just the basic, straight, old, original Coffee Mate. It's got like 10 calories, no carbohydrates, no sugar. And that will satisfy. That will take an edge off of my tummy grumblings for quite a while. And if I have a cup of coffee in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the late afternoon, even one in the evening, and I can sleep. Once I get to my caffeine tolerance point, I can drink coffee right now and go to sleep, no problem. But that's after years of drinking coffee, around the clock, and it just doesn't keep me awake. But so anyway, my observations are at this point. Because I have fasted before, and today was one of those days. Today was actually probably a very good day for me because I got to the point where I'm going, I don't know if I like this being hungry twice. Actually, I bumped up to 3 days a week. And I was sitting there thinking, well, but something happens in the fast that you kind of, if you accept it, you just kind of, know that you're not just depriving yourself of food, but some of the other things that are really, I think, beneficial to this diet is that when you're not processing food for 12 hours or 24 hours at a stretch, or very minimal, your body actually goes into kind of like a repair mode. And that's a very appealing thing. So that just by itself is a good thing. Also, there is a kind of a subtle freedom on a fast day. You get up and you do what you need to do, and you can exercise and everything. You're just going to feel from time to time some mild hunger pangs. And again, they can be soothed with coffee or and again, you can have 600 calories if you're a guy, 500 for a woman. And even a pipe can help. But you don't have to think, the nice thing about it is you don't have to think about what you're going to have that day, really. Now, I love to cook. Many of you know that. And I don't eat junk food like I used to. Now, there's an occasion where I get a pizza. And if somebody gives me something that I go, that looks good, a little too good, I might eat it. But like the other day, we had a big bag of hot chicken that came from the store. It was good. I enjoyed it. And that's the nice thing about this diet is if you do the fasting days, technically you can eat anything. There's nothing restricted. Again, you have to be prudent. You can't go eat 6 gallons of ice cream on an eat day. But good luck trying that if you want to try that. But you actually learn over time that certain things you're going to pay a price if you do that. So the thing that I guess my question to you, and more importantly, I guess, to myself, is this going to be a fad that I abandon, or is it going to be actually turn into a lifestyle? And I'm hoping it's going to be the latter. Because you do get to a point in your life where it's easier to put weight on than it is to take it off. There's no doubt about that. But if you have to do a little bit of delayed gratification, there's even a pipe technique based on that. Again, I ate yesterday. I had a wonderful breakfast, a nice omelet for breakfast. I had a nice chef salad for lunch. I only ate half of that, ate the rest of it for dinner. And then I had one piece of chicken, and just a little dollop of potato salad, and that was it. And that was yesterday. Today I fasted. Guess what? In a half an hour, technically, by the clock, it'll be over 24 hours because I stopped eating last night at 7 o'clock. Now, again, for my 600 calories, they recommend eggs, a couple scrambled eggs. You can do that, and maybe a couple strawberries or a couple tomatoes, carrot sticks. Granted, it's not something that sounds like, wow, I really want that. That sounds delicious. But, I like to do the old prairie oyster thing, as I just crack the couple of eggs in the cup and put in a little bit of salt and some Tabasco sauce, and Bob's your uncle. Sally's your aunt. And it can really take the old hunger pains off too. And it's under the 600 calories. It's no brainer. But in a half an hour, 33 minutes, as I'm looking at the clock, not that I'm actually counting, because I probably won't eat anything until about 10:30 tomorrow. But I'll wake up tomorrow. I probably won't be hungry, because I'm really not hungry in the mornings. I'll go have a cup of coffee, a little devotional time. I'll go say Mass, and I'll come back. And then I might have some nice scrambled eggs and some grilled cherry tomatoes and mushrooms, which is very delicious. And or maybe I'll just wait later in the afternoon and maybe have a nice dinner. I don't know. And then Sunday is also kind of like my feast day, my real feast day, where I, if I want to have a bowl of ice cream, 2 bowls of ice cream, I'll do that, Probably about a bowl, because I can only do a bowl now. But it's not a deprivation kind of a thing. And I think that helps, because if I have to start counting calories or carbohydrates or measuring food, I don't think I could do that for a long period of time in order to get to the goal that I want to achieve. So the question that I kind of leave with you all is, when does something really become a way of life as opposed to just becoming a seasonal or temporary habit or fad? Again, you can find. I tell you, there are hundreds of diets out there. There's the beer diet. I never tried that one. I thought about it for a while, but there's one Lutheran guy that fasts on beer during Lent. Okay, he swears by it. God bless him. Don't think I'll be doing that diet. But the thing is that maybe I found something I'm hoping that works for me. It may not work for you. You may not say, hey, I can't do that. A lot of people start it, the first day or two, and they just say, no, I'm just not going to do that. I can't do that. That's just too uncomfortable. I don't like having to deal with that. Well, anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that, as old Pipe Pops would say. And so if you wanted to PM me or send me a video, make a comment on this video, knock yourself out. Maybe you can talk about, your very first pipe experience, like Gary shared with us today. So anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching. I'm going to be talking more, probably do some more shout outs in the next video. Many of you saw the little trailer I had about Jesus and Ayn Rand. I'm thinking about I actually have a video. I haven't uploaded it yet. It's kind of on the green stage. So I probably might want to go back and actually polish that up and really make a nice presentation about the philosophies of Ayn Rand and how they, I think, actually are in keeping with Christianity. I know some of you might, if you heard me say that right now and you go, what? Well, you'll have to watch the video. Okay. Well, that's Holy Smoking Pipe Padre encouraging you to light up your world and light up your pipe. and enjoy. We'll see you now. Bye-bye.